The Marketing Futurist Podcast, episode number 19. Mind-blowing inspiration to create and innovate. This is your Futurist advantage.
Welcome to the Marketing Futurist Podcast, where your hosts, Mary Catherine Johnson and Kelly Garrett, chat with innovators who are keeping the human in marketing while driving the future of tech to give all of us a futurist advantage.
Welcome back, Marketing Futurist. Today, we are here with Mary Catherine Johnson, and you know me, and our guest today. We're so excited to talk to Jason Swenk. Hey, Jason.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, we're really excited. Why don't you just kick it off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so currently I am, hopefully for a while, a husband and a father of two boys. Hopefully, I was saying for a while, hopefully
right.
my wife, right?
Yep.
And so I'm a professional Uber driver for all my kids' sporting events. And then how I pay for all my kids' sporting events in school is I help agency owners grow faster through walking them through some strategies that used to work for me when I ran an agency. So, my background, I ran an agency for 12 years. We started in 1999 and sold it a couple years ago. Well, I guess like 5 years ago. I don't know if it's a couple years ago anymore. Actually, no, it's not 5 years ago. 6 years ago. I can't believe it. Time goes by fast.
Oh gosh, no kidding.
Yeah, so.
Cool.
And then I own a couple other businesses where helps agency owners out find and train salespeople. Right? We all struggle with salespeople, so.
Oh gosh,
but that's enough about me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the agency thing, it's, and I know Mary and I know from experience that holy cow, it can be a challenge to grow an agency and to stay on top of all of the technology and trends that are out there, meanwhile trying to get more clients and managing employees and all of those sorts of things. So
that's the toughest part. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, how do you, and now that you're kind of stepped back from that a little bit and teaching people about that, how do you stay on top of technology?
Just by doing it, right? I mean, literally, like, for example, like when messenger marketing came out, I was like, oh, that's a cool feature. And let's kind of just toy with it. But, I'm not doing that with everything, right? Like I remember when Twitter first came out and I remember my business partner at the time at the agency was like, yeah, all these people are using Twitter to hook up. I'm like, well, I'm married. I don't need to use this. Right. Or like Snapchat, like, I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Like, I just thought of, D-pics. That's what I thought of, Snapchat.
Yep.
But, on certain technologies, like whether it be email or marketing automation or, like messenger marketing and that kind of stuff, like I'll be like, all right, I see it somewhat. Let's start experimenting with it and try it out.
Mm-hmm. So
I think, go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, I was just going to say, so how do you find time or how do you suggest that people who are in the nitty gritty of running a business create the time for that?
Well, you got to make priorities, right? So, I always kind of break up my week or sometimes certain days, in order to figure out what I need to do. So, Mondays are usually kind of research days, right? Where I'm like experimenting with things. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are what I call profit days, right? And these are where I'm marketing or I'm selling, right? And then Fridays are free days. It's the same thing with Saturday and Sunday. Like I don't do anything on Fridays. Unless it's my one client, Zach, I always call it Zach Fridays. So I love Zach.
There's always one.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. Like I don't mind. Like I'm like, I'll help you out. I always mess with him. Like Zach Friday.
What would happen if I didn't hear from you on Friday, right?
That's right.
Wow. So what, with that though, what's interesting to me is how everybody thinks about trends or like you mentioned Snapchat and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. What was it about messenger marketing that really made you say, no, I see this and I see the possibility instead of Twitter or Snapchat or any of those kinds of things? What made that difference?
Well, I think I was so frustrated and I think all of you will agree, right? We have websites. I was so frustrated with people constantly trying to sell me SEO on my online forums. I literally was like, if you like tell me to design a better website or whatever, I'm literally going to shoot you. And it was just like the bots coming out after me. And then also, I also got frustrated with the legit people filling out the forms I couldn't reach after. So I was just at such a big frustration. I was like, I'm going to delete my contact page and I'm going to create it as a messenger bot, right? Where I can actually respond to them. So like as people are hitting me up right now, right? I can literally respond to them in a couple hours from now or tomorrow. And the cool thing about it is I'm not fighting with their email. And I'm also blocking the spammers from being able to find my forms.
Got it.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Just backing up a second, you said with your contact forms, you can't reach people. Do you mean by that, like you'd reply and then they would disappear?
Yeah. So
Okay.
think about, and I saw this at the agency too. So one of the things that we stood out with is think about someone's following or finds you on the search engines on Google or whatever. And then like, I need web design or I need marketing help or I need something. And they fill out a form. Well, they're just going down a list of whoever they can reach first. So
Right.
what we would do to stand out is we would constantly get back to them like within the minute while they're still on the website. And we would call them up and be like, hey, sorry it took me so long to get back to you. Like freak them out, right?
Right.
But if we didn't call them back within 5 minutes, reaching them became really hard. Or when we reached them, they forgot who we were. They were like, who's Solar Velocity? Like you just filled out our form a half hour ago. Oh, I don't remember that.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that's great. I love that because that interaction on Messenger is so fresh in their mind. And yeah, I'm kind of like, oh, wow, that's a really cool thing. Even though I've heard you talk about the strategy before, I guess I hadn't really thought about how extremely effective it would be.
Yeah, and think about when someone's filling out a form, I always look at it as, let's say you walk into a store, right? You're looking for some help and you see two things that are identical and you have questions, right? Or you're like, let's say you go in for running shoes and you're like, well, I kind of run flat-footed or I run this way. And you have questions like, which one's better? And then you look around the store and no one's there. And you see this black box on the wall. So you type out your question or you write out your question, you put it in the black box. And you just sit there and you're like, okay, let me just wait. And you wait longer and you get frustrated, then you leave and you go somewhere to find your answers. And so that's how I treat a contact page. Literally, I think contact pages need to be shot. Like literally, let's like say, shoot the contact page and delete them and change it over to a messenger bot where it directs them to where they need. So like how mine works is I will let them know up front saying, so I'm going after agencies. So I'll be like, this is the Don bot, like Don Draper, and I'll have him smoking a cigarette or something. And I'll be like, hey, this is a Don bot. So I'm not trying to trick you, like letting you know that this is a real person, even though they think it's a real person in the very beginning or they're right. And then it asks them a series of questions in order to allow us to help them faster or direct them to what they need. Right. So like with agencies, like I have programs, I have masterminds, and I mentor people. So a lot of times when people reach out to me on the contact page, traditionally, they're trying to figure out what's best for them. Well, Don can tell them that. And then here's the beauty about it is then I can record a voice memo to them, letting them know, hey, Kelly, hey, Mary, this is Jason. I went through, I saw the revenue. You're an agency owner and you're struggling with this. Yes, the playbook's right for you. Or no, it's not right for you. This is what you should go do.
Love it.
Wow. Yeah, that personalization is really what everything's kind of going for, right?
Mm-hmm. Always. Yeah, I mean, everybody's always trying to automate everything. Like I'm actually trying to de-automate a lot of stuff just to stand out because, you're right, everybody's like, oh, it's a robot. And so a lot of times when I record a voice memo and I say, hey, Kelly, or hey, Mary, the first question people say is like, how'd you automate that? I'm like, dummy, it's not automated. It's me. Like, what do you want me to tell you?
That's really funny. Yeah.
And not only that, I mean, when they're so surprised that we hop in, that kind of shows that trend of even though we're telling them exactly what they want, right? Because we were responding to exactly what they're saying, they still don't expect it to be us because we've trained them so well. To just have automations and things that really don't know them, like email specifically. no matter how customized we can get email, it doesn't communicate as well. So thinking about that, what really frustrates you about marketing and especially technology and the future, where it's going, or even just where it is right now? What's most frustrating with it right now for you?
I think marketers just try to trick people, I think, a lot of times, right? Where I think the best marketers in the world are the best teachers. And, we try to automate everything, and we try to, make people make decisions. And I don't think marketing should be used to make a decision or right. I think marketing should be used to educate and entertain them. And then if they like the rest of the stuff, then they're like, okay, I like this brand, right? It's all about marketing should be build awareness and trust. That's really it. And then let your consumer, your client, them make the decision. And then also realize, I think the biggest frustration I think I have, and I see this in agencies, I see this in all kinds of businesses, everybody wants to go after everybody rather than going after that small little tribe. Like they go, I want to be an overnight success. Or they look at like my business I'm currently running now, and they're like, how'd you grow it so big? I was like, well, I took 15 years of growing other businesses and agencies, right? Like you don't see that, right? You just see it like this. And same thing with all these other people or Facebook. They just go, I want to be Facebook. I'm like, no, you should look back at the origin story of Facebook and look for the clues that they left for you. They went after Harvard students. They went after Ivy League schools. Then they went after colleges and high schools, and then, ex-boyfriends and girlfriends stalking each other, and then all these other ones, right? So like mimic that other than the stalking.
Right. So, I think as we talk about technology and how it's becoming more personalized, and I really think that is what attracts people to new technology, how do you balance like the creepiness factor? Because, we talk about getting microchips embedded and that just sounds scary. So how do you, as a marketer, how do you balance that when you're watching someone online and what they're doing?
Well, just be upfront with them, right? Just be like, hey, I've fallen in the trap of this too, right? Like but we all have to fail and we all have to try everything, right? It's kind of like a Vegas buffet. You got to try everything, see what you like, what you don't like. And be like, I don't like that green stuff. I like that orange stuff over there. Give me some more of that, right? Mm-hmm. And so we need to try it all out and then go, what fits with your personality? What fits with your beliefs? And then just go with that, right? Because you're going to surround yourself with people that believe what you believe. And like, I realize like, my personality is like, I'll tell you how it is. I'll joke around with you. I'll never wear a suit or a tie. Like that's just not my style. Mm-hmm. And so I actually try to push the boring people away, push, the suits away sometimes, like if they're too stiff. Right. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm not for you. And so, I think when you're trying out technology, be like, does it work for you? And like, would you like to, if you try to flip it, like I started looking at some of the stuff that we were doing, I'm like, oh, that sounds like certain people I can't stand. Let's get rid of that.
Right. Yeah. That's a good litmus test, I think, is how you feel about it. And I think we have to remember that if you make one mistake, if you say the wrong thing, or if you get too in someone's face, you're not going to just completely fail. People aren't going to hate you and never come back. I think people are very forgiving when it comes to mistakes.
Yeah. And you just own it and you're like, yeah, you're right. And, or you own your belief behind it. You'd be like, I believe in this. If that doesn't work for you, understand, I'm not right for you. Right. And that just goes back to going, I don't need to be it for everyone. I only need to be it for the people that I want to go after.
Right.
Yes. That is totally speaking absolutely my language. It is. And I think the language that so many of us are realizing that it's the whole niche down philosophy, but it's not really that. It's just speaking to the people you want to speak to, giving them exactly what they want so that they can make that choice as to whether you're the one to provide it for them or not, and go find someone else who is. But you're speaking very specific language, and that's okay. Not only okay, that's preferable, because they're going to recognize that and recognize your education. I love how you say that it's education more than selling or more than trying to convince people of anything. So with that now, let's look into the future. Where do you see it going? We've talked about creepiness, we've talked about a couple of other things, but where do you actually see this going in marketing and technology?
In marketing, I think it's going to be coming down to more of personal brands, right? I mean, you can look at one of the best examples is Gary Vaynerchuk, or any professional athletes that have used their personal brand in order to do influencer marketing, catapult, their reach, right? People already know them. They have their attention. Now all they have to do is build the trust. And the same thing with technology. Technology is always going to change, and there's always going to be new tools, better tools out there. And if you realize that technology is not the end all be all, then you'll be fine. You just use technology in order to enhance what you want to reach. Like, it's amazing now, like when I look back, even to a couple years, like the business I'm doing right now, I'm reaching people all over the world. Like, it's just like, I'm like, after my kids go to bed, I'm talking to Australia. I'm like, how does that work? Like, I don't get it. Or how did my message go all the way over to India or Austria? I mean, it's unbelievable. But I know technology is always going to change. So like with messenger marketing or email or text messages, right? Like, or direct mail. Like we were one of the first companies to do pearls, like personalized URLs, right?
Wow.
And then, like think of like how SMS and all this kind of stuff. It's just always never be satisfied with what you're doing now. Like, no, what got you here will not get you to the next place. And you're always looking for the next thing to grab on, that rock when you're climbing up the mountain. Hopefully you don't fall. But if you fall, you just climb back up if you don't die.
Yeah, and we can look at so many companies as examples of not staying up with technology and not keeping relevant. Kodak, one of the biggest examples. So it is important. I like how you say, like, it's not necessarily about the technology. It's just knowing that it's always going to change. So keeping on top of the change rather than the actual technology.
Yeah, and never be satisfied, right?
Yep.
I'll always keep pushing, right? Like Blockbuster, great example, right? Like I think it was maybe 15 days ago, like 20 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, Blockbuster actually turned down Netflix to buy them, which is kind of funny, right? Like I used to love Blockbuster. I used to love walking into a movie theater or movie store and look at the jackets and be like, I want to watch that movie.
Yeah,
right? That was cool.
That was
and then
night.
Netflix even went through that as well. If you think about it, they used to send DVDs, other than my mother-in-law is the only one I think in the world that still gets DVDs sent. A big laggard, right? But they went through that and they kept innovating. They were like, oh, the streaming thing, we need to stream. And they always got to constantly keep looking at what's next and trying out things and being willing to fail at stuff, like, and execute fast. I think I'm a big believer at the people that execute quick will always be more successful, because they don't just sit around and be like, how do I make it perfect? It's just like execute, see if it worked, pissed off people, work. Okay, let's not do that or do that again.
Right. And I think too, in the example of Netflix, it's kind of like, they really know who they are and what value they provide. They're an entertainment company. They're not a DVD rental company or a streaming company, because once they have owned that fact that they're an entertainment company, they're going to be able to adapt quickly because they're not so stuck on the delivery method.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Yep. There again, it's not just the technology. It's speaking to the people and understanding who you are and speaking to those people directly. Wow. So Futurist, thinking about that, and of course, all three of us are on the same page and love what we do and love the marketing that we're talking about. But what advantage do you think you can give people? We always look at this as what's the Futurist advantage? So people that are coming in, what kind of advantage do you think, advice you can give them to have a Futurist advantage in their business and their marketing?
Execute fast, and then also delete your darn contact page. It's completely useless.
I'm going to go do that right when we're done.
Me too. And what a concept. Make it a bot.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I mean, I've heard so many people talk about that lately, and it's, and not that you're not unique in telling us to execute quickly, but it's like that really will make the difference in your business. And I think we get so paralyzed because we're afraid of messing up, or we're afraid of not doing it perfectly. And that doesn't matter in the end.
Well, I think people don't have the right system set up in the very beginning, right? So, I can only speak for the agency and kind of the service-based world. We all start by accident, right? We were accidental into this business. We knew how to do something cool. Someone offered us money, and then we started reacting. And we just started reacting to the market. So then a couple of years go by, could be, I've seen it 10, 20 years, agency owners are stuck or business owners stuck. It's because they're reacting to the market, and they don't have that clarity that gives them the ability to make fast decisions. They're just going, oh, all this business is coming to us off word of mouth or referrals. It's good. But they never figure out going, oh, I want to be the best resource in the world for agency owners. Or they don't figure out the why. Like, I want to provide a resource I wish I had. So for example, we get pulled in all kinds of directions. People are like, oh, can you do this, this, and this? And I will evaluate it based on one thing. Does it help agency owners grow faster? That's it. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't, or if it doesn't provide a resource I wish I had when I was running the agency, we say no. So it gives us power. So here's another example. One of my team was writing a blog post of the top marketing conferences for agencies to go to. They listed 20. 3 of them, I was like, no, these guys are jerks. Like, no way. Like, get rid of them. There's no way in heck I'm going to put them on there. And they called me out. They're like, is this a good resource for agency owners? I'm like, yeah, I put it in. Right? So I can even call the BS on me. So I think the big thing to execute quick is know where you want to go, know what you believe in and why, and really think about this. This is not a quick exercise. And when you do that, now you can make faster decisions and then, become what you want to be. But we don't know what to say no to. That's the problem.
Oh man, no gives you so much power. You are open to all opportunities and all possibilities. But if you're very clear, like you just said, about what you want to do and who you're helping and how you want to help them, you can very easily say no. And the no is way more powerful than the yes. Absolutely. So what does that look like in a day-to-day situation, let's say? So an agency owner is, like you say, reacting and just, trying to keep up with the business that's coming their way because they do this thing and they've all of a sudden stumbled upon it. I think Kelly and I can kind of relate to that a little bit in the messenger marketing world. But so they do that. What one little tweak can they make to stop reacting so much and actually evaluate and execute quickly?
I think understand their roles better of what they should be doing. I think it really comes down to about 4 or 5 things if you want to transition from an owner to a CEO. And one of the first one is know the vision and communicate it to your team. Like just what I told you. Because the same thing of you being able to say no, great, you know the vision of where you're going and you can say no. But if your team doesn't know what to say no to, or like when we would work with our team, we would, when we got smart or when we tried to get smarter, okay, I'm still not smart, still dumb as a doornail. But I would start saying, all right, rather than delegating tasks, I would delegate outcomes. So it gives them the freedom in order to make a better informed decision. So knowing the vision, communicating to your teams often is priority number 1. Second one is coaching and mentoring your team so they can be better, and only doing that one level deep, right? And you shouldn't have any more than 5 direct reports. If you do, you, you're doing a bad job. 3, understand the financials. You don't have to be a whiz at it. Like, I'm an idiot when it comes to numbers. I'm just glad we walk around with a calculator in our pocket now.
Right.
I win. 4 is be the front face of your business, right? Build your personal brand. So then you can kind of leverage that for other things. And then the 5th one is assist sales, not do all the sales. So when you're able to just do these 5 things, and I'll warn you, when you do these, you're going to be completely depressed, because literally you're like, I remember coming home, I was like, business doesn't need me anymore. I'm a suck. I'm crap. Like, I might as well just call it quits. And then like your wife or significant other slap you around and be like, dummy, that's what you wanted. And now the business needs you for other things. So just remember that. But when you do that and you fall into those roles, now you have the freedom to be innovative, to think of the next ideas, but you have to have those systems in place in order to be successful at it.
Yeah, great. Those are such great things.
Wow. All right. So, we've talked about the future. We've talked about your agency a little bit and how you help agency owners, which obviously, if there's an agency owner out there that's in that place of still reacting and they haven't contacted you, I think they will by now, because I know every person out there listening who's an agency owner, you're speaking their language. Definitely they can understand where you're coming from.
Right. Where's the best place to get in touch with you, Jason?
Yeah.
Best is the website, jasonswenk.com. Swenk is, I'm not related to Hillary or other companies out there in the 80s that always embarrass me. So it's SWENK. So jasonswenk.com, and you'll see the links to, both shows or YouTube channel that I was looking, we've done 333 podcasts.
Wow.
And over 400 videos on YouTube. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You look back. That's amazing.
Just keep.
And like 2 of them were good.
Oh, come on. I don't think I believe that one.
You're pretty active on Instagram too, I know, and Facebook. So
yeah, Instagram's a lot of fun. It's a way to, just show people what you're up to. Like, you get a mix, some of the personal life and some business advice in there. I'm still experimenting with Instagram, but I love it. Like, I'm addicted to it because I look up Jeep porn, look up like the Jeeps with big tires and cats. Like, I saw you being Mrs. Evil a little while ago. Like, I follow all those, like the cat poses, and I buy all those cat stuff. It's kind of fun.
I think we know a little more about you now.
I'm a huge cat nerd. So.
Oh, awesome.
I have 3 of them. I'm surprised none of them has come down and jumped in our videos.
Leave it to this one to do that. She does it every time.
Every time. It's wonderful.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Jason. Do you have any parting words for us?
Just swank it. Just go do it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes. We're so thankful that you were here, and thank you for your advice, and we hope to speak to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Get your Futurist advantage by joining our Facebook group at marketingfuturist.co/group, and tune in for our next journey into the future of marketing.